this. The chaos seems to escalate. More and more things seem to be going wrong or confusing. A lot of tensions arising, and this is it. You know, it's the birthing of this new thing, and that's the push that comes to shove there. That's the thing that pushes the baby out of the birth canal there, and we're just being pushed out of this illusion that we are living in right now, and opening ourselves up to this new reality of, you know, first of all, we are part of these higher beings, and that's what we have to aspire to. Instead of looking at leaders and, you know, hip-hop figures and stars as our idols, we should start looking at beings that have higher levels of consciousness that can teach us, like Christ taught us when he was here, how to be live in peace, how to overcome all the human condition, that brings us duality, that brings us such misery in our life, and misery all around us, and that scarcity consciousness, to bring us to this abundant consciousness, to know that we can defy the laws of gravity, that we're all part of this collective consciousness, and all one being, and they're benevolent beings that really want to help us through this process.
That's the best part about it, is they are on our side, so there's really nothing to worry or fear. Everything's going to be taken care of, and like you said, a child or a mother giving birth to a child, you're going to experience some birth pains, but you're going to, you know, brand new life or a brand new golden age, a brand new way of being is right around the corner, and that's something to look forward to more than anything else. We have like another 10-12 minutes or so. We have a few people watching the live show. If people do have questions, we would love to interact. Let's try to keep it on topic with the footage from Moon Rising. If there's any questions in regards to the moon, ETs, or anything that we could help assist you with, go ahead and type in your questions. I opened up the chat, so we'll address them. Is there anything else particular?
I have a little quote here from, it's sort of like about truth, and it says, truth like gold is to be obtained, not by its growth, but by the washing away of all that is not gold. Leo Tolstoy, and he wrote War and Peace, meaning the truth is here. It's all around us. We don't have to create a truth. This is really, you know, the truth is here. We just have to see it. And by washing away of all the things that are false, all the illusions, where we find what the real truth is. The truth about ourselves is the first thing we want to focus on, who you really are deep inside before you're trying to find the truth about anything else. That's the key with the consciousness, you know, finding out about who you really are, and where you fit in with your higher self, who the higher self in you is, and how to manifest that and bring that forward, so that you bring the ego, the smaller self, you know, into the background, and the higher self into the foreground. Once you've reached that truth, and you begin to see things, like with the moon, it's not black and white anymore. Everything is in color and dimensional, and you begin to see it washes away all the illusions about things that aren't really the truth, but they have like shreds of little bits of truth that make like you
1% truth.
Yeah, 1% truth. But there's all this symbolism, and like you say, there's a lot of occult symbolism, but there's all this symbolism in there that really doesn't mean anything and doesn't translate anything to the truth. The truth is a really basic, fundamental right that we have of who we really are, deep down inside, connecting into that, lowering our entropy. We become, we flow with the truth of our universe and the collective consciousness, and we begin to see a greater truth, that we are part of not only our whole planet, that we are the consciousness of the planet, but we also can speak for the consciousness of our universe, of the moon, of Mars, and who knows, whatever other planets. It seems to be that if They can live on the moon. They can probably live on just about any planet if they can engineer whatever the climate is, either go into the planet or build structures out of the planet, or live in the atmosphere, the void, the ether around the planet. I mean, this is not something that is temporary. These spaceships are miles long and seem to have more than we have in our own homes and local communities. So they're self-sustaining. Some of these spaceships are actually living organisms. So that's another whole thing, a living organism that is put together, the consciousness, so that they can travel to other places. And I guess they just transmute into, come out as beings that they are and become the spaceship. I don't know much of the physics and science behind that, but understand this is all beyond our teachings that we've learned in school about science, and it's beyond the scope of our imagination. It's sort of like science fiction. And if you read science fiction, they've sort of got it right when we thought it was science fiction and the outer limits. It was really, they were getting, I guess they were seeing a truth that we didn't know about.
Right. Steven Spielberg is one that puts in pretty much all his movies, he's trying to tell us something. He is not a stupid man at all, with all the messages he's trying to get out to us in many different ways. And earlier you mentioned the moon being hollow. They proved this in the documentary. Something was up there, and they either blew it up or it crashed into the moon, I think, and the moon shook literally for like 3 hours straight. And this is how they proved that there's a great possibility of the moon actually being hollow. Right.
That was interesting. But I guess if there's not much atmosphere on the outer part of the moon, if you go into the craters, there's probably more atmosphere down there, and they probably build tunnels or whatever, caves, caverns, and they live in there, and they have these big glass domes, I guess, to keep the atmosphere controlled. I don't know, they have, you can see that they're glass because of the way the light shines on them, so it sort of brings like colors of prisms, I just can't imagine, we think we have skyscrapers and big buildings here, and we come from New York and Manhattan. Can you imagine, they're not miles high. Can you imagine the scope of the enormity of these buildings and these structures? I just can't imagine.
And some are triangular. So